Hey guys, what is going on? This is Ip of Rage Quit TV presenting the ESV TV Korean Weekly Season 3, week number 6. This is the round 1. Still, we have ZeNEX.Life versus Nuclear Foyu, also known as FXO.ASD. It is a TVZ on Ohana, which does mean generally the Terran player will go on a relatively fast third base, and there's not that much Zerg can do about it at all, just because while this area off, defend this, you got 3 bases, you have a very happy Terran player at that. The Zerg, well, they can take a 4th base relatively easy. It's not really hard to defend a Zerg's 4th base on this map. Unlike some other maps, there's not really a big terrain advantage for the Terran player. You have this big wide open middle, lots of counterattacks can go down, so when the Terran player ends up moving out, the Zerg can generally always run around and get into the middle line and do a bunch of stuff like that. And we'll see exactly how this game does play. The games we casted yesterday, we saw the Terran player go on a 1-Rax double expo. So we'll see what ASD ends up doing, and we'll see also what ZeNEX.Life does. This is a player that I've heard about a lot, but I don't know exactly how he plays. And that's one good thing about the Korean weeklies, that they do shine light on the entire Korean scene, which is so good. And just seeing these, unknown. I don't want to say unknown because Life, I think he's pretty well known. He's just not one of the big names, but it does give them a chance to shine. He is going to be going for a 15 hatch, very common. We did see TLO actually go for a gas pool build, but that was definitely cheese. Life not going to be cheesing in the first game. This is a BO3. We do have a 12 Rax going down, and kind of interesting placement of this Rax. Place it right by his command center, assuming that no Ling run-bys are going to come early on. It's not going to be like a Baneling bust, because if it was, he could have a little bit of trouble. So we'll see exactly where he's going with this. May just want to be extremely econ-friendly. Doesn't want that SCV traveling about, because he hasn't even scouted just yet. The SCV finished the Rax, and it looks like he will end up scouting after that. And may see this one overload, but the overload should be able to find safety before the Marine comes out, so not a big deal there. The SCV is going to be making his way on down. We actually have a gas by Life, so he's not going to be doing the good old 45 supplied double gas or triple gas build and just drone up, get 4 or 6 queens out, defend with queens. And yeah, this is going to give him an opportunity to play aggressive. He can always go on the aggressive, can also get a lot of roaches. A lot of Zergs have been building a few roaches to kind of counter this 1-Rax Expo type build, or the 1-Rax Expo into Hellions, because roaches do well against Marines, Hellions, and, well, SCVs. So roaches at this stage of the game, relatively common. We'll see exactly what ends up happening. The SCV does get in, and he ends up seeing this gas, and now, well, he doesn't survive long enough to see 100 gas mined. Will he go around? The big thing is, does he come back in? Does he see the gas still mining after that 100? If the SCV just leaves right now, I think that may be a mistake, because it's so easy to get in here. Go back in, check that gas out, and here we go. He sees the speed, sees one drone on gas, so now he knows, okay, it's probably not going to be roaches, and wait, more drones did just go on gas almost immediately. That SCV could have seen it, or it may have just been on his way out, and we don't know if FXO.ASD did end up seeing that. He is getting a lot more barracks, so maybe he does suspect something on the way. 4 Rax going down, and I forget what Korean has been doing this a lot, but it has been rather successful. However, when I've ever seen this go down, it's been against the 45 supply gas build. Not against this really fast Zergling speed. When these Marines come out, if it does get scouted, and if ZeNEX.Life ends up building a lot of Lings, these Marines are going to be just goners. There's no chance for them to actually survive against Lings with speed, because he's not getting any stim or combat shields or anything of that nature. So we'll see if ASD actually goes aggressive or just uses all these Marines to get a third base up relatively soon, secure that, and then go on the aggressive. We do have Life now taking his third base. The SCV now returning to this one watchtower. Did get some great scouting information, and I'm really curious where he's going to be going, seeing this gas still being mined after the Ling speed. Maybe he thinks it's going to be roaches. He's like, okay, well, I can just get a lot of Marines and beat the roaches. I don't know. If he thought it was roaches, I would assume there would be Marauders. May have been like a Marauder Hellion thing that Polt loves doing off of 2 base, so I don't think that ASD is thinking of roaches right now. I think he knows it's going to be a lot of Lings with speed, or maybe Mutaplay. I have no idea what's going through ASD's mind. And the 2 Queens going to be helping out, taking out those rocks. We do have a third gas now just being constructed by ZeNEX.Life. And mutas actually on this map are not really that bad, just because the bases, there's really no easy way for the Terran to defend all their bases against mutas unless they build a lot of missile turrets, because unlike Cloud Kingdom, let's say the base was right here, you could put units here and here, kind of defend them both. But overall, mutas not only use that much in TVZ, but on the Korean server, they used a lot more than NA or EU, so do not count them out, as that layer is just about done. It's going to be finishing at the 8-minute mark. And that is the timing if you were going mutas back in the day, but I don't know if you would have taken this third base so soon. The Marines are coming 24, Lings are on the way, and we'll see how much damage these Marines can do. Going into the loss tab, we do see that a Terran player has lost 100 more resources so far. The Marines do get in a really good spot in those middle lines, so maybe these Lings won't be as effective, even though they do have speed. Some nice micro on those Marines, taking out all those Lings, but more Lings do come storming on in. Marines getting in a good position. These Queens doing a great job at staying alive and going to the workers killed, none. Going into the loss tab, well, it's even. So I know it's 120 differential, but before that attack, ASD did lose 100 more than life. So just kind of equaled out, and that's not really what you want to do against the Zerg, because until that attack came, he was still just droning up. Going into this work step, you do see 51 drones to the 44 SCVs, but a third command center is on the way for ASD, so he's not going to be too far behind, and that Econ will easily catch up. Does have combat shields and stim pack going on at the same exact time, and does he have a factory out just yet? Getting double engineering bays, and I don't think so. So he's going to be really behind on the meta account, still just on these 4 barracks, and once this third base finishes, he's going to have to do something. I'm assuming he's going to start getting tech. We see his gas getting a little bit high, but that gas will first be used for 1-1 upgrades. Those Lings just about finished with their 1-1, so the Terran player is going to be a little bit behind, and also we do see life getting fungal, not fungal growth. You might as well rename this to fungal growth because you don't build infestors before pathogen glands. But yeah, he's going to get infestors out, and all we have right now is pure bio with no medevac support. Those medevacs are really far away, so ASD is going to have to do damage right now or not at all. And right now is not an option because he still has to go across the map, and those infestors are on the way. In 25 seconds, he will have fungals, which will just put an end to these Marines. So he's got to wait until he gets medevacs out to move out. Now going to be getting Marauders, not going to be doing any type of tank play, it looks like. Or maybe he's just getting Marauders until the tanks come out. Reactor go on this, so no, he's going to go pure bio as life is taking his 4th base. Does have a Ling sitting right here to scout when the 3rd base does come down of ASD. Now, ASD is going to be playing pure bio right now, and a lot of people have been kind of wondering on Reddit. I've seen a few posts, why do Terrans do this? If you have good micro pure bio, it's actually not that bad, because it does prevent the Zerg from just building a lot of Broodlords and becoming immobile, because at the late game, the Terran player suddenly becomes the mobile one and the Zerg becomes the immobile one, and if you have 10 medevacs out and get up to the 10-12 medevac count, fungal growths aren't really an issue, so you do force the Zergs to kind of build Banelings with that fungal growth so they have the DPS burst to out-damage those medevacs. Because as many people say, once you get 10 or 12 medevacs, it is very hard to kill any bio unit. The thing, though, you have to be very aggressive with this. If you ever let those infestors get to 200 energy, then they can chain fungal you. And I don't care how many medevacs you have, if like 6 infestors have 200 energy, you don't have ghosts to EMP them, you're gonna have a pretty bad time. We do have a great split right off the bat for ASD before this engagement. Fungal growths can't really do all that much. Some infestors do go down. Bailey's coming, but ASD holds that with ease, and the supply is even. Going over into this loss tab, we do see that was not a cost-effective engagement. Didn't even kill SCVs. No Banelings really snuck in. Supply depots, missile turrets going up by this bunker, making this a very safe bunker against any type of Ling run-by. But the 4th base up is done for ASD, not ASD, for ZeNEX.Life. I hate when I'm casting players that have different names than their identifiers or names on game, whatever you want to call it. 83 drones to 71 SCVs, 2 medevacs are out. Spire with a hive at the same exact time, so we will be seeing Broodlords. And I know a lot of Zerg players kind of don't get Broodlords against this composition because, again, the Terran player becomes mobile. With Infestors and Broods, the Zerg army not mobile, so you can do a lot of drops. Just watch any Polt game versus Zergs, and you will see him just go up against Broodlords and just be extremely mobile, especially when the Zerg, is he still ahead on upgrades? Yes, he is. That Adrenal Glands has now, just as the Hive has finished, And oh my god, I didn't even know those banelings were burrowed. A huge baneling landmine. And that is another bad thing about playing Bio. You have to be so aggressive, always moving around the maps. And those banelings just absolutely tear those Marines apart. But the supply is still relatively even. He did take a lot of losses there. But producing 6 Marines, 3 Marauders at a time will easily rebuild that army. Now I'm going to be scanning, taking out those creep tumors. And Ling is coming in from this back, and looks like we will have a little bit of a sandwich. No, he's going to be going for a run by. That one supply depot is left down. We have the Bioforce trying to catch up here. He could catch these Infestors, getting a good split off just before the engagement. One Infestor goes down. You do have the run by going over into the natural right now. And it looks like it is going to be doing some damage as SCVs are going to be going down. Repair going off. That bunker paying itself off. Ling's running into this main base now. But it looks like we do have enough for ASD to hold this off. The question is how much damage has been done. And this is buying him time to get those Broodlords out. As you do see the Greatest Spire almost done. Going to be burning some of those Zerglings to force another scan. And if this was like Coca playing, he would have Baning's Bird right here. For when the Terran player does return, or over here to catch those SCVs back to the middle line. But unfortunately, no Banelings are alive. So that is not going to be happening. But this did buy him time to get those Broodlords out. However, going into this army, he has 3 Infestors, 104, I guess 104 Lings. That's a lot of Lings. So he can be relatively mobile. But he doesn't have that many Infestors. And what he didn't kill in all those engagements was the Medivacs. You still have the 10 Medivacs out, so... And they have a lot of energy still, so this Bioforce is still relatively scary as long as it doesn't get fungled with Baneling support. Or it doesn't get clumped up and fungled. That is always a bad thing. Banelings are morphing in. Lots of Banelings will be out on the field. That is 17 Banelings. Factory, though, just floating, getting some scouting information. Corruptors now making their way out. Broodlords on the field with 2 more morphing in. 3-3 just about done for the Zerg. And 3-3 just about started for the Terran. Has a long way to finish, so there is a timing window where the Zerg will have 3-3. Watch him waiting. He has another 30 seconds to engage, and the Terran player does not want to let this. Is he going to engage? It would be a mistake to engage just before this 3-3 is going to be holding out. It is on the way. 15 seconds until that is done. If he engages now, it will finish when he gets that surround. Ling Zerg coming in. 3-3 is finishing. Banelings is kind of just doing nothing. Bioforce is splitting on up, but there's just so many Lings. 3-3 versus 2-2 right now. Complete surround goes off, and the Terran army gets obliterated. Those Medivacs did not come back to help, but the Banelings don't care about Medivacs because they have that extreme burst that is needed. And that is why you do need to get tanks if they start going with Banelings, so you can pick off those Banelings. Because tanks just do so well against them. Life is trying to defend in this main. Will he be able to do it? It looks like he will, but he's still got to answer to the 4 broods that are out on the map. And then more Lings will be storming on in. At the same time, we had a drop here that was cleaned up by Life, so try to do a counter drop and just take out all the bases, but that was not successful. Didn't have enough units to do multiple drops, and that is really how you do pick apart the Zerg. GG out of ASD, but that is only game number 1. And I was relatively impressed with that play, even though he lost. But what I was saying is, let's go look at that drop. If it was 2 Medivacs, that may have been a mistake to do them both at one spot. So Ling's already waiting here. And the way the Terrans somehow always manage to claw back into the game that I've been watching, what I notice is they have 2 or 3 dropships, and they don't really do damage at once. They don't try to just snipe a hatch. What they do, 2 Marines over here, that's nothing, is they put a dropship either here, like on this map, for instance. They put a dropship, do a drop back here, do a drop up here, and then just keep elevating between these 2 whenever the Lings come. Or they do a drop on both sides of the map and say, okay, you got a lot of your army right here. Your Broodlords are immobile. If you pull this back, I can kill these. And they'll do a drop right here. When the army comes, it picks up It says, okay, I didn't really do any damage, but I have a drop coming down over here. So they kind of volley back and forth, the constant damage going back and forth, and eventually one of the bases goes down, and then immediately the other one follows because they're doing damage at 2 bases at once. What ASD ended up doing, we'll watch. Waiting with the dropship for some time because he had micro that. Now drops both at once, so had to be doing this while that engagement was going on, and also probably had to split it up because it doesn't matter if you just kill one hatch. Not a big deal for while this is going on for the Zerg player to say, oh, hey, I'm going to pull a drone, go up here. Well, that can't happen because there are 2 Marines here, so he's gotten that covered. But you get kind of what I'm saying. Taking out one hatch isn't a big deal. You got to take them all out because chances are when the Zerg's going to be engaging you, they're going to have a big bank. But if you can snipe their hatches, they can't produce anything, so the bank doesn't really come anything. Anyways, going into game 2, hope you guys enjoyed that game. And, yeah, see you soon. Stay tuned.